age, we tend to develop joint pain and stiffness, and Tai Chi is one of those exercise systems that helps to strengthen and nurture the body in many different ways. And it's quite interesting because one might think that exercise might worsen a condition like arthritis. And of course it's good to get medical advice and look at the extent of damage. Look at what you're doing, look exactly at what you're doing. And to be sensible. If you're pulling weights, you need to make sure you're wearing shoes because, well, I hope I don't need to tell you, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're pulling weights, you could drop one on your foot, right? So that's common sense. So if you're practicing Tai Chi for strength, you're going to make your muscle density better to support your joints and to support your movement, even though it sounds more counterintuitive. And just like jogging, you get a natural high, and that high helps to numb pain. And I like to look at science behind things. I like to understand science, but I'm also into spirituality and the metaphysical too. So I think there's an aspect of both. And so with a movement like Rise and Sink, I would select, if you're new to this, very, very small weights. And remember that you should really be at a stage where you're practicing the form and you're more of an intermediate stroke advanced level Tai Chi person who understands that you need to be relaxed. You need to move from the dantian. You need to keep your posture upright. But if you are that, then there's nothing to stop you from holding weights and doing a movement like this. This is Rise and Sink, and you can keep your shoulders relaxed. I like to just tell my students to remember that, because some people's shoulders naturally look like they're tense, but they're not. They're very much relaxed. So how can you tell unless you're that person? Not very easy. You can guess, and sometimes you're right, but sometimes you're wrong. So a movement like that can, see, you can do repulse monkey. Of course, grip your weights properly. Don't do it with an open hand. Rise and Sink. I'm obviously holding my weights with a particular grip. I can't stick my weights to my palms. I'm not Magneto. I can't do that. But anyway, from here you can do a movement called basic repulse monkey, or pushing away the monkey. But the main thing is to keep it relaxed and calm. And why would you want to do this? As I say, any exercise is going to be good, and I don't necessarily need to build up big muscle and bulk. I have a certain amount for what I need as a martial artist. And so that sort of movement is very good for me for punching, grappling, especially on the floor, and doing some groundwork to pull someone in, right? If my back is on the floor, and then flip them over, right? But the movement does help. It does make your punching much stronger and much more powerful. That being said, remember, most of your energy comes from your quad, your hips, your dantian, your hara, this area here, and you can generate much more energy using your body because it's much bigger. It's a bigger compilation of muscles rather than biceps and triceps alone. Yes, all those things work, they help, and if you do combat regularly like I do, then you are going to do well if you strengthen all aspects of yourself. If you like this video, I'm Paul Tavares, make sure you share it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more.